Hello everybody, welcome back again to the channel. Last week we started with mindful physiology and the topic was homeostasis and allostasis. Homeostasis is this capacity of the body to self-regulate when it faces changes, and allostasis is this capacity to anticipate that something is going to happen, so the body prepares in advance and is better equipped when a change is coming. This process happens almost automatically. We don't notice them. But this week, I want to start introducing another concept, basic concept around physiology, and that is the cell. But before that, I want to invite you to a moment of awareness through a small meditation. So I invite you that wherever you are, you sit comfortable in your chair or in the floor. If you are in the chair, just ensure that your feet are touching the ground and that your back is straight. Relax a little bit your neck, your shoulders down. And start by taking 3 deep breaths. Inside, strong, in, exhale. Inhale deep and exhale slowly. Inhale deep and exhale slowly. So now you can decide if you keep your eyes closed or if you keep your eyes open or you close them. And there I invite you just to come back to your normal breath. Do not push it. Just let it be as it is. Now bring your attention to the area above the upper lip and below the nostrils. Just focus your attention in that area and allow yourself to feel the air touching that area. If your mind goes and wanders, just come back gently. Do not judge your mind. Just return to the area above the upper lip and below the nostrils. And observe that area, feel that area. Ask yourself if you have any sensations there. Maybe you feel the air cold coming in and you feel in that area the air warm flowing out. Again, if your mind goes away, pull it back gently. Just paying attention to that little area below your nose. From this moment of stillness, now start sensing and paying attention to your whole body. If there is a sensation that you feel, maybe some pain, maybe there is some itchiness somewhere, maybe there is a little bit of heat in some particular area of your body, or maybe it's cold in your hands or your feet. Move your attention there. If the sensation is temperature, feel that cold or feel that heat. If there is pain, just observe that pain. If there is itchiness, observe that itchiness with curiosity. You maybe do not feel any sensation at all. That is as well okay. But if you feel or not anything, know in this moment that everything that you are sensing or that you maybe will sense later is because the cells in your body are working non-stop 24/7. Because they are working and thriving. They are producing some heat, some cold, even that itchiness. Or maybe something is happening inside of them, and then there is pain. But at this very moment, I invite you to get in touch with yourselves. Feel them dancing across your body. Feel them moving. With curiosity, ask yourself, how many cells do I have? How many cells do I have? 1,000? 1,000,000? 10,000,000? 100,000,000? Billions? Guess a number, just for fun. Now slowly come back to the area above your upper lip and below the nostrils. And continue breathing slowly at your rhythm, following the flow of the air. Return your attention back to the room you are in, your office, the space where you are at the moment. And before opening the eyes, Be aware that you just got in touch with yourselves inside. Say bye bye and know that you can always come back to be in touch with them. To be grateful for all the work that they do. Take a last deep breath in. Exhale slowly. And when you are ready, open your eyes. So today I want to talk about the cell, but before that I want us to remember our biology classes at the school, where we were taught, at least from a scientific point of view, how the world, the natural world is organized. So we learned back there that the smallest particle is an atom. From the atom, a group of atoms form a molecule. A group of molecules form a cell, which is today's topic. From the cell, a group of cells form the tissues in our bodies. A group of tissues form the organs in our body, the heart, the liver, stomach. A group of organs form a system, like the digestive system, the respiratory system, and the group of systems form us human beings. Also, with the same concept, we learned back there that from the same particle, the atom, when they group, they form a molecule. From that molecule, we have a cell, and from that cell, we have organisms that are groups of cells. From those organisms, we have populations of organisms, and many populations forms communities, like communities of animals, communities of plants, communities of us human beings. Those groups, many communities, forms the ecosystem, and many ecosystems form the biosphere. This is what we were taught since we were children. However, it seems for me that we still don't understand really the depth of this knowledge, because we still face some feelings of separation, isolation, and depression at the moment. When we understand that we are made out of the same substances that everything that is outside of us, and we really connect with that wisdom, we are able to banish those feelings of isolation, because then I don't feel separate from anything and anyone. So in my case, when I face sometimes moments of lacking the sense of belonging to something bigger, and sometimes isolation, one of the practices that I do is to go out in the nature or in my neighborhood or in a forest and connect with all the beings that I have outside there. They can be a tree or the animals I see. And even when I see people crossing in front of me, I try to remember myself and see that person as a group of atoms, molecules, and cells that are exactly the same that made out my body. When I do that exercise, when I'm going out and facing this, those feelings of separateness tend to vanish. So I wanted to share this practice with you because it has been very helpful and is using some concepts from the school that help me as well to see that all the knowledge that we have gained individually or as a community in our consciousness, all that knowledge, even if it's scientific knowledge, we can touch that knowledge to be able to go deeper inside of ourselves and really see what it means that we all are made out of the same substances. Well, I closed this bracket, just wanted to share the practice with you, and now I want to start talking about the cell. My intention with these videos is not going deeper into an academical lecture. I just want to bring some of the essential functions that we know, and just little essential functions that we know in the example of today, this cell, to be able to connect deeper with those concepts and see how they can help us with our inner peace and also to be more aware about our health through the food choices that we make, but not only with that, but with all the food that we put through all our senses. So what we see, what we hear, what we smell, what we touch, and what we eat. So what was that number that it came to mind during the meditation? How many cells do we have in our body? At least from scientists, we know that it's around 33 trillion, 30 trillion of cells dancing in our body. And each of them, they have the size of a millimeter divided in 1,000. So it's very tiny, tiny nutrient processing factory, what is inside of this microscopic particle called the cell. The main purpose of the cell, or what it, at least for me, is more interesting to understand and connect with the cell, with the outside world, is that the cell is the one that receives the nutrients of the food that we eat. This food gets transformed into the digestive system. It gets assimilated in the intestines of the gut. And then from there, all the nutrients are extracted out from the food we eat, everything that we eat. And those nutrients, the real nutrients in the food, goes into the blood. And from the blood, they travel and then permeate the cell through a membrane, go inside, and they reach the mitochondria, which is a very sensitive device inside the cell. That mitochondria receives the nutrients and start transforming them in a miraculous way into energy and into waste of toxins. That energy that is produced here in this small particle from the food that we eat is the energy that we use to stand up, to walk, to dance, to live. Everything that we do and we are alive is because the energy that is produced inside of this tiny particle in the body. So what do we need for this cell to work properly? Or how the mitochondria produce that energy? Well, the mitochondria produce this energy from the fat and from the glucose of the food that you eat. And actually, according with some studies I read, 80% of the energy that we have comes from the fat that we eat, and 20% comes from the glucose that we eat or that we have in our body. The second important aspect of the cell is the membrane. So this membrane is made 50% of cholesterol, so fat. Why it has fat? Because it's the substance that helps to keep the shape of the cell. Otherwise, it will be deformed. But also, the cholesterol in the membrane of the cell helps to send the signals or the messages of what is happening inside the cell through the nervous system. So send signals and messages to the brain, and hence the brain has the ability to make decisions and send some actions depending on what is happening inside of each cell of the body. The other 50% of the membrane is made of protein. And the purpose of that protein is to allow the nutrients permeate and come in, because not everything can go inside the cell. So this protein in the membrane allows the proteins to go inside, and after the transformation, as there are some toxins that are produced, the membrane helps to expel those toxins out of the cell. The toxins move to the lymphatic system, which is almost like a system of cleansing the body. And then those toxins are out of the body through the urine or through the sweat, or maybe they are sent to the liver for further processing, if they need further processing. But this is the way how everything what is not useful for the body goes out of the cell and expelled through the lymphatic system out of the body. When I review again this concept of the lymphatic system, is a system that we sometimes don't pay too much attention in nutrition and in general. And it's a very important one because it's the one that keeps the toxins out of the body. And then I understood why in the East, why here is very important the exercise and particular exercises of the body to help to promote the toxins out, and also the massages. The massages stimulating the lymphatic system so the toxins can go out. The last concept I want to talk about this little particle, the cell, is this ability of the cell to produce or generate electric energy. So, with the food we eat, the food goes inside, the nutrients are extracted, the nutrients come inside the cell and produce the energy for me to move to action. But there is another kind of energy, and it's an electric energy that is produced in each cell as well. And how it's produced is a complex process. I'm gonna be very, very simplistic here, and is through a process or an enzyme which is called the sodium-potassium pump. If you are interested in digging more, just look in YouTube videos for the sodium-potassium pump, and you will find the amazing process that is happening just in the membrane of the cell. So what is happening is that there are many pumps around the membrane, and the work of these pumps is to push in and out from inside the cell to outside the cell, to move in and out, ions of sodium and potassium. So there is an activity and a movement between sodium and potassium inside and outside the cell. And because these ions have an electric charge, positive electric charge, and there is this process that regulates the level of sodium potassium outside and sodium potassium outside, that exchange generates some electricity in the membrane of the cell. And what is more important is why this energy is used for, this electric energy. Well, those are the electric signals that are sent to all the muscles to move and contract, to our heart for pumping and do the contractions, also regulates the blood flow, the blood pressure in our body. But the more precious one, which is related with these ones, is that they are electric signals that connect with our brain and our nervous system. So when there is some problem in this specific process of the sodium-potassium pump, if there is some malfunctioning, there will be some problems like strokes, but also problems like dementia or depression, mental health. So this is all about the concepts around this little particle. As I said, this is not a profound analysis of the cell because it's a very complex, and there are people who are experts and know how to explain better the physiological process inside of this particle. But my intention is to raise some awareness of some of the things that this particle does. So first of all, we need to be aware that for this little cell to do the work, they need fat, protein, and glucose. Here we have to be very careful when we see diets, when we restrict, or diets that suggest that we restrict the fat or go even zero fat or zero carbohydrates, because we are denying and depriving the cell from the food that it needs. Beyond being worried about removing the carbohydrates of the fats or any other substance, before that we have to understand how our body works. And then question ourselves which kind or what quality of fat, protein, and carbohydrates I will give to my body. Is the quality of what I'm going to ingest. The second point is being aware that this cell is in charge of producing some kind of electric energy. But it works best when it is in a relaxed state. So there are some studies showing that the mitochondria, which is inside of the cell, and is this machine that receives the nutrients and produce energy, some studies have shown that when we are in a relaxed state, the mitochondria looks like an spaghetti. But when we are under pressure, under stress, and not well, the mitochondria looks like a knot, and then it cannot perform well. So from one end, we have to be more conscious of what we eat to facilitate the work of this little cell, of these little 30 trillion cells in our bodies. But also we can help her with practices like mindfulness meditation or any other practice that help us to be still, calm down, because all our system will calm down, so the cell will be able to perform better and do a better job with our health. Finally, I want to share that also for the cell to thrive, to work properly, it needs air, water, and food. Those are exactly the same elements that any living needs for thriving. So we have to ensure that we are feeding this cell, which is responsible for all the systems in our body. We have to give him the food it needs. I think this is all what I have shared today about the cell. As I said, I want you to be awareness that every time you are going to make a choice in the food you are going to eat, make a stop and connect with this little entity inside your body. Feel it moving. You can feel it because the body is itching, the body is sometimes cold or hot. These are the reactions of this one. So this is the way we can be in touch and communicate with ourselves. If we are facing an illness, and it's an illness related with the liver, for example, the liver is made out of many cells like this. So we can visualize and see the cells inside of you and connect with them. And when you are feeding yourself, feed your liver to proper healing. And give some time as well for you to relax and help the cell to calm down. So the cell is not under stress doing all the work that it has to do plus the stress. This is all what I have to share for you today. I hope you enjoy and see you in the next video. Thank you, bye-bye.